Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TLT Talks. I cannot even contain my level of excitement today. What's up, Jackie? How's it going? I have interviewed Leonard Steinberg on the show. I have interviewed the leadership team of Compass. I've interviewed Mike Savage. I have had a lot of people on the show, but today I had my wife, Mrs. Livak, talk about health and vitality and how to protect yourself from COVID and other things. But today I am truly honored to introduce my partner in crime, my work wife, my sister. It's kind of weird. My wife and my sister. It's kind of weird. My one of my best friends, the shining sun in my world. Hello, Sarah Katz.
Hi, Eugene.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm really great, man. I'm really excited. We're just gonna have we're all about adding value, but today I don't even care. I just want to have a good time. I just want to have some
fun. I'm ready.
Good.
Always ready for some fun.
That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to, if you don't know, and you should know, JR, how's it going? Katie, I got some fans with us. Sarah Katz is the Director of Operations and Marketing for the Livak team. She's a yoga instructor. She's a farmer now. Sarah, show us your plants. Show us your farm.
Okay, hold on.
Do it. By the way, people, I just made her whole day.
Well, you know what? I picked some of my stuff already. So I've got tomatoes growing here. And I had some more tomatoes here, but I picked them all. This is an eggplant plant, but again, picked it. This is peppers. These are jalapeno peppers. We got some scallions growing.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a couple
more things,
literally
but
it's all spread out.
There's nothing this woman can't do. Well, Sarah Katz, why don't you introduce yourself? You know the deal. Give us a fun fact. I love how you had no trouble logging into the Instagram Live.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you kind of took away my fun facts. You told everybody about me being a yoga instructor and a farmer now.
This is true.
But yeah, I mean, quarantine, I started with growing arugula and I made my first salad with food that I grew and I was hooked and I was like, I got to be a farmer now. It's just really fulfilling to be able to grow your own food and then eat it and know that you're not taking away from this planet, but like contributing something. And it's really nice. Yeah, so another fun fact, been with Eugene for 10 years. This is something you also know. And
10 years.
I'm really happy to be here.
I love you, buddy. So guys, the premise of the show today, we get asked this all the time. As a matter of fact, when agents at Compass, even really big agents, they want to start a team, oftentimes it's kicked in our direction as, hey, can you meet with this person? You guys are kind of like the gold standard of how to start and build a team. And Sarah and I, over 10 years, going back to City Habitats, we built this thing together. This was not a solo effort. We built this thing together. And so we thought we'd share some of our biggest tips, shares, takeaways, some do's and don'ts of what it takes to build a successful team, a successful company. And that's that. So, Sarah, what would you say is, the first and most important thing? You're an individual agent or you're an individual business owner. It doesn't have to necessarily be real estate. And you want to start, you want to build. What do you do? Like, what's the first step?
You need to find the right partner. You need a good person on your side, good support, somebody that you can pitch and catch with, bounce ideas off with. You can't do it by yourself. Not possible.
For sure. So, Sarah and I have a very interesting way that we met. You want to share the story, Sarah?
I'd love to. So, yeah, I believe a lot in energy, right? And I think that, as cliche as it sounds, everything happens for a reason. I had been in fashion my entire life up until that point, which was a good 5 years, right, of working. But I had been in fashion. I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue, and one of my best friends, I'll call him out, Richie Parker, got me fired from my job at Saks. And I'm like,
Richie's always getting you in trouble. You
know what?
Damn it,
This is what friends are for. They help you grow, right? Always challenging you to find the next level. So, So I get fired from Saks and I'm like, damn, what am I going to do? This is actually the first time in my entire life that I don't have a job, that I don't have a larger responsibility and people that need me. And I didn't realize how that was actually going to make me feel day to day. And so like the next day after experiencing this feeling, I started going everywhere, putting my resume in everywhere. And then again, back to this idea of energy, I ended up meeting this guy had, who knew this woman who was working for Eugene. She no longer wanted to be in real estate. She was shifting industries. Eugene needed somebody to replace the role that she was serving with him at the time. He was in real estate as well, this friend that I had met, and I was showing a lot of interest in learning about what he was doing in real estate. So he's like, when she decided to switch careers, he told her right away, you need to connect Sarah with Eugene. She's really interested. I think that he'd really like her. And so they did. And then I came in, I met Eugene, and yeah, the rest is history. I was hired on the spot, by the way.
Literally the most interesting, literally the most interesting interview of my life. At that time, I really needed help writing ads. We were doing a lot of listings and we were doing a lot of stuff. I needed someone to come in, write ads, and like help show apartments. So we're doing this whole interview. Sarah's talking about fashion, and I'm like, what does that really have to do with real estate and how it was translated? I'm like, look, let me ask you this. Are you a good writer? And her response was as if I offended her somehow. She was like, excuse me? Do you want to see? I'm like, sure. So she pulls out, what did you pull out? Some biography you're writing? Or
Yeah, I was writing my autobiography at the time. I was 4 paragraphs
so she
in.
pulls out this thing. She pulls out this thing, and she's like, okay, well, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you are hired, man. Let's do this. So yeah, like, why do you think we work? I mean, 10 years, a long time. It's not always been warm and fuzzies like any, relationship. There were some trials and tribulations. Why do you think, for us, 10 years together, I wouldn't even imagine, there's a lot of new ventures I'm looking into, and I can't even imagine starting anything new without finding a way to bring you in and do it together. And I think this isn't, I don't think we're talking about this thing in past tense. I think this thing's for the next, forever. What would you attribute? I think getting a good partnership is hard. It's really hard to cement a good partnership, and I think we're aces. What would you attribute it to? Like for people out there that are trying to build a partnership, what should they be looking out for?
There's so many things, but if I had to pick the top 2, I'd say it's communication. Like the ability to over communicate and just talk about everything that's going on, especially when you're in the building stages and just getting to know each other and learn. You have to learn so much. It's a relationship, just like when you get into a marriage, and you have to spend a lot of time together and just learn everything about each other. So communication is really, really key. And then, you can't have ego, right? You got to do what's best for the business. It's not about what you want. It's about what is the best thing to do. And as long as you move with that kind of intention, I think that's been paramount in our success for sure.
Yeah, totally good. I grew up playing organized sports, and sports over communicate. And whether it's whatever sport it is, like if in baseball it's really easy. If a ball goes in the air and both guys are running for it, if neither guy says I got it, they collide, they drop the ball, and they both look stupid. And there's similar things in all sports, and we just do such a good job in over communicating. We've turned it into process, ping pong, CMV, all these different things.
Yeah. What would you tout it to?
It's a good question. I'd probably say, again, we've worked through a lot over the years. I'd probably say defined roles. Like we are very yin and yang. So I'm a dream, not even big. I'm like a dream huge, dream gigantic. I don't care about it being possible today. Let's go. But then you tell me to sit down and build it, and I'm like, oh no, let somebody and vice versa. You're so strong. Your abilities to just sit down, zone in for 10 hours and go and build something or do the research. That yin and yang, I think, is really strong. I give you so much credit for that too, because look, for somebody like me, for the entrepreneur, for the business owner, for the whatever, it's so hard to let go. You got to really earn the trust to let go. And, in our earlier years, forever ago, we always get compliments today on our social media, on our marketing, and all of our stuff. We get a lot of our business due to it. And in our earlier years, I had to approve every single word that left our company. And today, like, I mean, many people may not know this, but, you know, today, whatever goes in the Live team social page or e-marketing, I mean, I see it when the rest of the world sees it. So the fact that we could divide and conquer, you know, we both have so much more time in our day. Like, you don't really got to worry about the vision because I'm always going to challenge us. And I don't got to worry about how to build it out because I know that I can lean on you to put something in your world and be like, here you go. It's never been done before. You got a week. Come back to me. And every time you'll come back to me. So that's really cool. And, you know, it's funny. I do a lot of coaching, a lot of business coaching. And most of the feedback I get in business coaching is you can't be too close. You got to keep a distance. You got to maintain this like professional relationship. And what I love about feedback is that that's all it is. It's feedback. Some feedback you take is great. Some feedback isn't necessarily for you. And I would say we are incredible. Jackie writes
Queen.
Coles. By the way, I forgot to mention that in the beginning of the live. This is not meant to be a lecture. Please ask questions. Please leave comments. Let's make this interactive.
Talk to me,
but
guys.
But that's one thing that I never agreed with. Like, you know, you spend more time with your work people, and a lot of times you do with your actual family. And so it's really important for me to build a culture. So you're basically godmother to my kids. My daughter aspires to be you. She's all over Instagram because of you. But like, there's just we have, for anyone that's seen Spanglish, you know, there's no space between us. Like we're such a big part of each other's lives. And, you know, I could vent to you about Julie. You could vent to me about boys or whatever. I mean, literally to the point of, actually, I'm calling you out, Julie Lidvack, to the whole world. Julie has started on Tuesday a 60-day cleanse, no cigarettes and no alcohol. And I've learned, Julie came to me, she's like, listen, you know, how can we work on this, whatever. And I have learned the hard way. You cannot coach your spouse. I have learned this the hard way. But I'm like, babe, you need an accountability buddy. She's like, who do you think? And it was easy, Sarah Katz. So
Yeah,
there's
really
no space
dope.
between us.
I'm happy to do that for her.
Yeah, there's no space between us of any kind. And actually, I think that we go above and beyond for each other because it's not just work, because we're building this thing together, because we are family, because, you know, because of all those things.
You know, there's this the story of the goose that laid the golden egg. I don't really remember the story, but I know the concept is that there was a goose who was laying golden eggs, and the guy who owned the goose was really happy about these golden eggs and overworked the goose until the goose was no longer able to produce golden eggs. And the idea is that if you take care of your people, that are producing great things for you, then everything else comes after.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like, look, that's I think a lot of the reason that we are where we are today is you and I are completely, like, we're yin and yang. We're different in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways that we're the same is our driving force. It's our magnet together. And the main one is kanai, this concept of constant and never-ending improvement. Like, it's always about how can we make it better? Who cares how good it is? Who cares that it's already better than everybody else's? How can we, our bar is ourselves, and how can we make it better? So actually, on this show together, we've put together Adam Turkowitz. Leo, how you guys doing?
What's up, Adam?
Over the years, we've had this common denominator, and over the last couple months, I've brought, with your help, of course, people onto the show from Compass Leadership to get the story through their eyes, the Compass story through their eyes, right? And so we've been together for 10 years. And no offense to all the Compass people, but you're more important to me than any of them. Sorry, guys, not sorry. And so I'd love to hear, we've been together 10 years. I'd love to hear, I think that people watching this, I get to be around you every day, but not everybody does. I think you bring so much value in everything you do and say. Let's hear it, Sarah Katz. The last 10 years, City Habitats and Compass through your eyes, what you think we did well or not well. Gloves off, go for it, kiddo.
First of all, I want to say, my AirPods, I tried to do this for you, get on my AirPods and everybody else, but they are a little wonky. So if they drop, sorry, guys. I also want to say shout out to Compass because we just celebrated our 6-year anniversary with Compass, and that's been awesome. Not quite 10, but 6 is a really long time also. I mean, the last 10 years have been pretty crazy. Like I said, I joined you, Eugene, right after that other woman had left. And, you were just really good at materializing leads. You had too many to handle. You needed somebody that could help you, like help all of these people so that you didn't have to lose any of them. You were spending nights sleeping in the office, right? Get that first walk, and you were a monster at getting leads. And I came in without any kinds of real estate experience whatsoever. And you taught me everything that I know. I'll just say that, everything I know about real estate, you've taught me, or been the vehicle to me learning that. So thank you. But yeah, I came in, I was writing ads, I was getting keys and opening the doors. I was the shower. I was the girl with the keys. Any real question that the person had, or if they wanted to take one of the apartments, they went to Eugene and he handled all of that. And
it actually, hold on,
and then over
it
time,
actually started then. It started then. We had all these apartments, we had all these keys, and every agent would like fumble around with them. In comes Sarah, brings this big ring, and she's like, look, why don't you guys just do this? And I'm like, I love her. I love her. It's so simple, but like,
you gotta be
simple, but like, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I mean, the only way that you're going to ever grow and be able to handle more is if you figure out ways to make the things you're doing today faster and more seamless, right?
That's right.
So,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so then, then I actually just woke up one day and was like, hey, if I do all of the same things that I'm doing for Eugene for myself, I'm going to make more money because I'm going to get a higher split. And then since that day, I just started doing those things for myself. I became a full-blown agent. That was always the vision, right? And I was just helping to kind of learn. And then when I had that awakening, I turned around and I started doing my own thing. I think I was one of the first agents to discover Street Easy when it opened up, and that you could reach out for rent by owners. And I started bringing in lots of listings, and I think that's what really created the and from my shoes, I think that was a turning point in our relationship where you saw me a little bit more like an entrepreneur and somebody that you could work and build with, because I had developed this whole process and system, and then it was working, right? And I was seeing it all the way through. So, all right, there was a lot that went on in City Habitats. We grew a beautiful business. We brought on a lot of different kinds of agents. We got to train people. We got to build out training systems. That was really great. And then we kind of plateaued and we needed to make a move. So we ended up at Compass after looking everywhere. And Compass it had a lot of promise, right? It had a great leader. The vision was amazing, and we bought into it. And then when we got there, so the vision was great, but today, the actual things that existed for an agent today when we joined weren't as amazing as they are today. We lost access to a lot of things that we had access to. Our business had been built on the way that the previous company we were with, or the tools that they had available to us, and that all changed. And with that change, we had to shift our business model. That shift in our business model required a much more like day-to-day hands-on care and management of the process and systems. So Eugene wasn't about to give up his real estate business and stop transacting and doing real estate to handle all of that stuff. And again, right, we were great yin and yang. So I always had this passion for systems and operations. And so I absorbed my existing business into the team, and I took on this more managerial type role and was literally doing everything from like marketing to handling our rentals to the operations, the build out of these new ways we were going to handle things, training the new agents, supporting Eugene. You had an assistant at this time, but still like helping support with everything. And then actually it's funny. So we also, by this time, the company had grown where Eugene could afford to get me to stop doing real estate and pay me enough to stay behind the scenes and man the back of house. But on my first day in my new role, in my first day in my new role, we lost 3 of our top producers all on the same day, right? This is really shortly after we moved to Compass, and a couple of them had gone back to the last company we were at, and then I myself was one of the top producers, and I had stopped producing. And so this was like a big hit now to the company that I just started to like work to build and grow. But whatever, life throws its stuff at you, and you just got to figure out a way to get past it. And we did, and that's something that also I think makes us work really well. Or I owe a lot of our success to the always looking forward. You always got to be looking for, like, what's wrong is always available, but what's right is as well. And so keep looking forward to what's right, and and pushing to where you know you need to be going. And the little things that happen along the way just make you stronger and tougher for the next step coming.
Right.
Yeah, so then, my role has taken on a lot of different looks over the last 6 years that we've been at Compass, from handling our, rentals, to that getting too big and us hiring a rental manager to take over, and then me focusing on our marketing and operations, which now does feel like it's getting a little big. So it might be time to hire somebody for one of those things. Hint, hint, Eugene. Yeah, and so we've grown our operational process. We started on Wunderlist I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So today we have our own custom CRM that we're running everything through, that gives us amazing visibility into our business and just allows us to handle so much more and help so many more people find homes and so many more agents grow their own business. It's been an amazing journey, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. Matt Spangler jumped on just as you were saying Compass was great, but right now it wasn't so great. Boom, Matt Spangler jumped in. at that exact moment, it was so
I want to
good.
say that Compass really elevated its game with bringing on Matt Spangler.
This is true.
That was a big elevation. But
This
Eugene,
is
like, I
true.
know none of anything that we have accomplished would have been possible without a tool that I know you really, really like. And I'd love for you to tell other people, because I think that this is something that really will help everybody get to the next level. If you're thinking of, bringing on some help, growing a business, getting an assistant, any of that.
Yeah.
And it's called an activity index.
Right.
So I'd love if you could tell people about that.
Yeah, sure. Richard, thank you. Eugene is the man, finds great people. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the activity index, look, the what an entrepreneur is a problem solver, right? You find a problem, you solve it, and you find a way to monetize it. So actually, I owe the credit of this to Gordon Golub, who's a dear friend and a mentor, and he got it from Strategic Coach. I now teach this to most of the agents we hire and some of the coaching that I do outside of real estate. And it's really simple. Today, if you were to ask yourself this question, what am I worth dollar per hour, right? It's a really easy, we look at time, we look at money as a currency, but a lot of times we don't look at time as a currency. And it is a currency. It's actually the most important and the most equal or fair currency, because we all have the same amount of time. But oftentimes people will be like, I want to do this, this, and that, without considering how much time it takes. So the goal is to make sure that the activities you're doing are producing the most amount of money within that time. And if they're not, pick different activities. So, you start with understanding your dollar per hour value. So for everybody out there, that's really simple. Take a look at how much money you're making, per week, per month, per whatever. Divide it by the amount of hours you're working, and you're going to get this is what my dollar per hour value is. Then what you do is you do what's called an activity index. And so whether you want to use a piece of paper, a spreadsheet, I'm a spreadsheet guy, whatever, you make two columns. Column B is everything you do in a day, from opening mail to answering email to whatever your industry is, just literally granular everything you do in a day. Column A is you qualify every one of those activities between, it's funny, James Fierro just jumped on. James Fierro must be sick in the face with hearing about activity index, because I talk to him about it easily 50 times a year. Easy, like, what are we going to give away? What are we going to give away? What do we not need to do anymore? So column B, everything you do in a day. Column A is you rate everything in column B between 1 and 4, but it's not an order of priority. It's how competent does one need to be in order to perform that task. So the actual language is, 1 is incompetent, 2 is competent, 3 is excellent, and 4 is unique ability. And the goal is, can you spend 75% of your day in excellent or unique ability, in the 3s and 4s, and then delegate out all the 1s and 2s. So the first thing when I teach this, the first thing that comes up is like, well, who am I going to delegate it to? I can't afford an assistant yet, all that stuff. And this is where the third step of the process comes in. That's future pace. So you run a model, you're doing analysis of, if I only did these things, the 3s and the 4s, and I didn't do any of the 1s and the 2s, how much money do I think I would make? And so you do that. And then how many hours do I think I would work? And then you do that. And then you end up with your projected dollar per hour value. And then you look at that, and what's going to happen is like, or something. I don't like that. And so now your goal is, how do you bridge this gap? And if you do your dollar per hour value now, and it's $50 or $100 or $5, whatever it is, and then you look at the projected, and it's 400, 500, 600% more. Well, you know what? By getting rid of the ones and twos, you can actually go and make that money. But what comes first is the investment. Most people are like, well, once I make enough money, then I'll hire someone, and that's putting the cart before the horse. It's about unloading yourself from the ones and twos so that you're not one of these people around talking about, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to do the things that really matter. You're not a master task manager, but you're focused on the outcomes. You're focused on what you need to be doing, what your skills are. And actually, this process was born from a surgeon. A surgeon actually created this process because if you think of a doctor's office, for every minute the surgeon is not in surgery, there's an opportunity cost. So you'll never come in and hear a surgeon say, well, I'm going to work the front desk in between my surgeries because I can't afford a front desk person yet. So the investment comes first, and it doesn't have to be full-time, 50, 80, whatever grand a year assistant. It can be, a couple hours. It can be like, I just need 2 hours a week, which if you look into the virtual space, you can find people for, $6, $7, $8, $10 an hour that can perform tasks really, really well. But that's kind of it, like that, start with your dollar per hour, go through, it seems though I am way over the Richard, you're cracking me up, man. But yeah, start with your dollar per hour, just design it, just design the future, design what it could look like. You'll see your dollar per hour event, and then now you have this gap, and now you could say, well, look, if I think I need a full-time assistant, but that's for tomorrow. For today, I'm going to take somebody on, and that's literally how Sarah Katz and I happened. Is at that time, first it started as help on the listings, and then the goal was always to graduate into an agent, and we replaced that position, and then we were making look to Compass. It was it literally went to that place. It went to the place of activity index. And look, if I could have someone else have all these day-to-day conversations with the landlords, well, then I can really focus on bringing in more business. So let's put Sarah in a leadership managerial type role. Plus, I trust her, and she's totally paid her dues. So, that's how it started. And we've been doing this for 10 years now. We do this all over agents. We do this in our business every day. We built this wonderful CRM as part of that because we started with Wunderlist, which, by the way, Ryan Serhant still uses Wunderlist. That's his system. And I bet any amount of money that if we plugged Ryan into our system, he'd make even more money than he already makes. Now Compass is building a CRM, and I think it's really strong in ways like AI or whatever. But what we've done is we really created a pipeline of business where everything's it's easy to perform. Lots of manual stuff is taken out of it. It's really and now we're about moving on to the next phase, which looks like outsourcing. So currently, in the real estate world, the rental market is on fire, meaning there's a lot of inventory. There's people running around. The inquiries are up. The shares are up. Wow, speak of the devil. Matar Catalan has just joined. Matar, we had just finished talking about coming over to Compass, Sarah doing, all the stuff, and then you taking over as head of rentals. Matar, I miss you, buddy. Matar is living it up in Brazil. Just living it up. I'm so jealous every time I look at his Instagram. Anyway, so now the next step's automation. Currently we have engaged for a lot of hours. We've been working with a VA for a couple of years, but now we're going to be able to accomplish things like a 15-minute response time to leads. We're going to be able to accomplish, in this activity index today, for an agent to be responding to leads and scheduling showings. That's not a high-level activity. A high-level activity is meeting the clients, showing the apartments, etc. And so now we're able to outsource the ones and twos to a virtual assistant. And from there, let our agents operate in their threes and fours, which is being with their people and their properties, which is a phrase Sarah coined. So that's sort of the next step. Richard Roman. Oh my God. It's like all the OG TLTs are coming up. Richard Romans has joined. Richard, we miss you, buddy. Come back to us. Richard was one of our massive successes that his family thought he was doing such a good job that they stole him from us. Stole him and are grooming him to take over the business. But Richard was a really good example of the activity index. He came in, learned a bunch. So yeah, like that's kind of where we're at. I mean, I think it's a really powerful tool. Sarah Katz, 1233. I could talk to you for literally my entire. Actually, I do. I do talk to
That's
you.
it.
My entire day, I speak to you more than any other human on the planet. But I
Yeah, I
do want to
can
let our
talk a lot
viewers
too.
go. This is true. People, this is true. You want to make Sarah happy? Dale Carnegie wrote a book 100 years ago, How to Win Friends and Influence People. What he said is people do business with people that like and trust. You want Sarah to like you, ask her a question and stop talking and just let her go. That's it. You're Sarah's best friend. No, but seriously, Sarah, I'm so grateful every single day that our paths crossed, and that I think we're really what we've done through COVID. We're having record months and all this stuff, and I could say sincerely and honestly that none of this happens without your contributions, in the business and in my personal life too. I'm so grateful to call you family.
Thank you.
I want to let our viewers go, so everyone go back to the thing. Any final thoughts? We always ask our guests. You're usually on my side with me, helping me during questions. But today you're in the hot seat. You're in the hot seat today.
The
Any
hot seat's
final
pretty
thoughts for
cool.
someone out there looking around? For anybody out there looking to, build a business or look to cultivate a sustainable partnership. Any final thoughts, final tips?
And not necessarily a tip, but I do get asked a lot, uh, why, why I've been around so long, why stick with this, why stay with Eugene. You could go do your own thing, you're so smart, you have all these skills, you have all this experience, blah, blah, blah. And like, when you think about it, 10 years, a whole decade. First of all, it's crazy to think I've been doing anything for 10 years of my life, but a decade is a really long time to devote to dedicate your life to doing something. So often people want to know why. And so I've had to think about it a lot. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand with a little bit of a tip. Um,
Richard, you literally just became my best friend. Richard, you are literally my best friend.
I have seen
By the
Eugene
way,
dribble a
today,
basketball. He even has a special one
literally
that teaches
today,
him how to dribble.
I'm going today, Sarah. They opened up the basketball court. I have a reservation for 7 p.m. today to go play basketball. I can't even contain myself. Richard, you're the man. Sorry, Sarah. Please go. Please go.
No, no worries. Yeah, no, just like the money is one thing, right? A lot of people choose their career path based on money. And I can't lie, real estate was really attractive because of the money earning potential. And but what's kept me around is definitely the growth and the camaraderie, the family dynamic. That's like the people on my team are my family. Like, I'll spend hours on the phone with them. Hi, Lenny. Shout out to Lenny. And like, it's just, you spend so much of your time at work, doing the thing that you've chosen to make your job or your career. And so just to be in a place where I'm constantly pushed to the absolute brink of my capabilities and thresholds everywhere. And so like I constantly rise to new levels. I might not in the moment love everything that's happening, but every single time that I look back on anything I've been through, I'm so grateful for it. And like, don't really know what my life would be like having not have gone through whatever it is, that happened. So I think when you find somebody that you can vibe with and it's special, like, stick with it. There's a really awesome notion that I got from Eugene. Again, don't really remember it exactly, but like, not to get off the lunch line, right? A lot of people will get on the line, right? A line for the buffet or a line for lunch. And like, this line is taking too long. I'm going to go to the next one. Or maybe like a food cart, right? The food cart line is too long. You're going to get off and you go to the next line. But every time you get off and you go to the next line, you're just taking longer before you get to eat. So, just stick with it and you'll get to the food and, hustle hard.
Sarah Katz, it is my sincere pleasure to spend this time with you in front of everyone. I'm happy to go. Our 10-year anniversary came right before my actual 10-year anniversary with Jules, which is next year. So man, most people can't even find one good wife. I got two amazing women in my life making me better it's not even fair. That's why I'm as successful, as good as it's because I got these two powerful women constantly letting me know everywhere I'm fucking up. Ooh, excuse me. everywhere I'm messing up. And so it's great. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah.
You got Jamar telling you
Speaking
he
of the
loves
family,
you.
both Brett and Lenny are calling me.
Well, anyways, I will let you go. Sarah, I love you. Thank you.
I love
And
you,
let's go,
Jamar.
man.
I love you, Eugene. I love you guys.
See you guys. Have a good one,
Have a
everyone.
great day.